Hey, it's Pat from PJM Scheduling Services. Today I wanted to show you how to update a cost-loaded schedule. So there's a few ways to do it, but what I want to show you today is probably the most detailed way, and it's going to include storing each period's financial data. So what that means is presumably each month you're going to be updating your progress, and you're going to generate your pay app from your schedule file. So, say for instance, we're gonna, maybe our earthwork is 25% complete, and so therefore, $1,250 we're gonna bill to the period. But then the following month, we want to reset the amount that's going to be billed for that period because a new pay application is going to be generated each month, and we want to know, well, what's the new amount that's accrued for that month. I hope I explained it well, but that's the goal of this. Is we don't want to just have a running tally of how much total cost that we've billed to date. We want each period to have an amount associated with it of how much has been accrued for that specific period. So the way that we do that is we create financial periods. So in P6 we have our if you're an admin user, you have financial periods. And what we have to do is create our financial period buckets. So essentially we have to define what are our financial periods. And so let's say we want our batch to start on June 17th. Or let's say for the sake of this, I want to start on June 1st, and we want to do every 1 month is going to be our batches. And let's say we want to create batches. Our final one will be July 31st, and we'll call that 23. Okay, so right now we're going to create several batches of financial periods. These will be basically the buckets that the costs for each period are going to get stored to. So we have batch start date June 1st, and it's going to end July 31st in 2 years. All right, and it's going to occur every month, every 1 month. I'm glad I checked that one. So let's go ahead and let's create that batch. Are you sure you want to create? I think so. Let's do it. Okay, so now we've created 26 batches. You can see this is period name. This is June 1. And the start date goes from June 1st to June 30th. So now we have all of these batches, and we're going to have an opportunity after each progress update to say, well, where do we want our financial period information to get stored to? And we get to choose the batch that we want to associate with. So let's go ahead and do our update. We're going to progress earthwork. Let's say we started and completed earthwork. And because of the way that I have my resources set up, if you saw the previous video, I committed to doing all this by hand, unfortunately. So we have $5,000 actual cost. And then let's say we started our foundation work. Let's say we did it on July 6th, and we got 25% done. And if we go to our resources, let's call that $5,000 we got done of that activity. And I guess just to be proper, let's make sure that we're not applying progress past our new data date. So let's say we got that done on July 21st, just to keep it all clean there. Okay, so now when I've completed my progress update, I can see my actual this period cost is $10,000, and then our actual total cost is also $10,000. But that's because this is our very first update. So when I'm done, let's say I've moved my data date, and we're gonna let's go to August 1st is our new data date, okay? And I'm going to ignore all the out of sequence stuff. Don't give me too hard of a time for that. But so now that we've moved our data date, we're ready to, we're about to start the next month of applying progress. And before we start applying new progress, we want to store the period performance to our, let's call it our July financial bucket. So the way that we do that is we go to Tools, Store Period Performance, and then we get to choose the financial period that we want to store our values to. So let's do this July 1st, 2021 bucket. And I'm going to say store now. Are you sure you want to store? Yes. So what you'll notice is this period cost now zeroes out. But our actual total cost is $10,000 still. And that's because in the subsequent update, we want to start show the accrual for that period of how much is billed in that specific period. So let's go ahead and let's continue the progress of the foundation. So say now we're 100% complete, right? Let's just go ahead and finish the activity as of August 23rd. So that means on our resources, our actual cost, let's go ahead and take that up to 20. So now what you'll notice is our budgeted cost is 25, our actual cost is 25, and the amount billing this period is only 20,000. And that's because it's subtracting out the previous period performances that have accumulated. So let's go ahead and let's move our data date one more time just so I can show the example. September 1st, let's schedule that. So where are those financial periods? Say I want to go to a previous month and I want to know how much was billed in a previous month. Now the way that we do it, I go to columns, I can add a column for financial periods, but what you'll notice is there won't be a column available to you called financial periods. And that's because we have to change our settings. So we go to File, we go to Edit, User Preferences, and then it's under Application, Columns, select financial periods to view in the columns. So we can actually choose the start date, and then we want to go, let's say all the way down, we can choose our last financial period. Let's go ahead and close that. And that's going to add those columns as options here under financial period value. So let's go ahead and let's add our, it's going to have a lot of different values because you can see all of the information that can get stored under one financial period. So it's actual expense, labor, costs and units. So there's a lot of different ones, but the one that we're specifically tracking because of our resource type is the actual material cost. And if my computer doesn't freeze here, actual material cost for June, and then we can do actual material costs for July, okay? So here's what we see. We see the previous stored value from June was 0 because we didn't store any values from there. And the previous value from July totals $10,000 because that was the previous stored period performance. So the calculation for actual total cost is this period cost plus the cumulative cost of all financial periods. So this cost is looking at how much did you bill this period, and then how much did you bill in all the previous periods combined. So that is the most complete way of doing updating cost loaded schedule because you get to track individually your previous performances. Some people do it, they just dump the information into Excel and then compare the Excel tables. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to do it, but if you want all the information within P6 and you want to be able to reference, one activity and all the data associated with that activity from previous periods, that's how you would go about doing it. So Hope that helps.